going to take the North and never give it back.
So that's a good pick. You get the corner.
Man, I'm confident in our offense.
Welcome back to the Unbearable Sports Podcast. I'm your host, Brad Barron. Make sure to like and subscribe out there on YouTube as we go towards our quest for 4,000 subscribers. Every subscriber, we like to think, is another passing yard for Justin Fields. So maybe he'll go for 300. We'll just have to see this next game. And also, we continue to have a giveaway for a Darnell Wright jersey. Just have to rate the show 5 stars out on Apple Podcasts, and you will be in the running for it. And last but not least, we are also continuing to donate a portion of what we make over to St. Jude's Children's Hospital. So if you want to donate to them individually, link down in the description. They're great cause, so make sure to look at that. But PayPal, we are live on a Friday breaking down the Bears. We've had some things. I just got a new puppy. Like I said before, our dog passed away. We already caved. We already got a puppy. And turns out puppies are a lot of work. So yesterday was a little nuts, but we are giving you a show now live on Friday. PayPal, have you recovered from the Packers hangover from that loss?
Yeah, I think officially I probably hit yesterday. It was a very long hangover of 4 days of just it was like,
totally.
Okay, finally my mind feels right. I can work all right, I'm not just thinking about the Bears. And I think the Packers fans in my office kind of forgot too. Like, they're like, sorry about giving you a hard time. We just have to do this party, Packers fans. So I think everything's, positive now. And honestly, with all the kind of news coming out, the Bears, like some of it's kind of negative stuff, but honestly, it makes me kind of optimistic from what I've been hearing of kind of the attitude of everyone around the locker room and kind of the moves that have kind of taken place.
Definitely. So today we are going to be breaking down the Buccaneers versus the Bears. The Bears hopefully will be able to get a dub in the win column. So we'll be breaking that down. And as always, we're going to be breaking down the injury report, and then we're going to talk about the defense, then offense, special teams, and last but not least, break down some game predictions. Both of us 0-1, and something that I forgot to do live on the show. We have a coin flip that I think they won last year, and right now the coin flip is 1-0. So PayPal, we're already behind the 8 ball because we both picked the Bears, but now coin flip is still up. The coin flip continues to be, I guess, the smartest thing about actually just honestly Bears shows in general. The coin flip did very, very well choosing against the Bears. So let's get this show on the road. Ron's out here. Cornelius is out here too. And Cornelius is saying, hey, give us some hope, which I think we will. But first, we're going to break down the injury report. Now, overall with this injury report, not too terrible, except for the person that's not listed. Kyler Gordon placed on IR. Bears sign Greg Stroman Jr. as kind of the backup corner. But actually, the true backup corner, Josh Blackwell, doubtful, did not participate Friday and Thursday, but was limited on Wednesday. No one else really of note. Everyone else is going to play. Josh Blackwell, doubtful, which means out. So, PayPal, it feels like Greg Stroman, but do you think it would be anybody else?
Yeah, I mean, the only other guy that comes to mind would be a Terrell Lewis, but I don't think Terrell Lewis has that. I haven't seen the speed from him to be able to play that slot position. He seems more of an outside corner. That's what he was in college. Like, he honestly reminds me more of a safety, which it's like I don't see him playing that aggressive at a slot corner. So Greg Stroman, I mean, I hope he kind of takes his reps and kind of earns this spot, because hey, like we kind of say it every year. It feels like Greg Stroman, like, he always looks good in preseason, and it's just he just never gets his shot, and being kind of a veteran, like, he doesn't make those really bad mistakes. So I'm happy with having Stroman. I mean, as our third string slot, basically, he's not a bad person to have out there. Obviously, I wanted Blackwell out there. I think he's one of my favorites. Just how hard he works, his work on special teams. Um, so I was definitely devastated about that. But hey, Stroman's good.
I agree. Stroman was a former starter for Washington for a handful of snaps and was pretty good. Had a 70 PFF grade overall on defense. Yet again, just a grade on 387 snaps. But even when he was out there for Chicago, I felt like he played well inside and outside. And like you were saying, in the preseason was solid. And I also agree with you too with Terrell Smith. And also, I'm so thankful Terrell Lewis and Terrell Smith aren't on this team together because there's so many people with overlapping names. Terrell Smith is, yeah, an outside guy, and I know some people are curious about Tyreek Stevenson. I still feel like both those corners, they're more long speed, which you want on the outside rather than
Mhm.
slot. Even though he played some safety and slot in college, I still feel like he already looked good on the outside corner last week, like not terrible. And we'll talk about that a little bit later. He was actually top 32 ranked according to PFF, which is good. Was a
Mm.
solid corner last week. And I say keep him going. So Cornelius wanted something positive. I liked what I saw out of Tyreek Stevenson in the first week, and we'll be breaking down some of the matchups a little bit later on. But we have to talk about Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay, Carlton Davis, the cornerback, is out with a toe injury, and then also Kalijah Cansey, the Chicago Bear hopeful, the three technique out there, did not participate all week and is not going to play. The other person to look out for is Christian Eisen.
Mhm.
Don't really have to care too much about what he is or what he's going to be able to do, but he is their slot corner as well, rookie out of Rutgers. So if he's not playing, they'll also be out with their starting slot as well. The other person too, Servakia Dennis, who is a linebacker, he is out as well. So, hey pal, let's get into this defense because speaking of people that are out, there's probably no bigger person that's going to be out than Alan Williams. Alan Williams, the
Mhm.
defensive coordinator, is going to be out for personal reasons. Now, if it's a serious personal reason, my thoughts and prayers go out to him, his family, whoever might be affected with this, whether it's himself. Like, it's always hard to say what is that reason, right? But
Yeah.
I don't know about you. I'm actually kind of excited just to see what does Matt Eberflus calling the plays looks like. But do you think it's going to be that different, or is it going to be kind of the same old, same old?
Yeah, I honestly think it's gonna be a little different. I think Eberflus being back in the wheel for his defense, I think he's gonna try and show up and be like, no, this is how to run the defense. Cause like obviously, we don't know the full story yet. We don't know what's going on. But honestly, as the interview kind of went on, Brad, I'm just kind of overreacting or something, but it seems like Eberflus just maybe wasn't happy with the defensive performance last week, and it was like, "Hey, like Alan Williams, like I am gonna take the lead now. I want to show how this defense is run. How they did not play with high effort. They didn't play with intensity. They didn't play with technique. All those principles. So I kind of think that's maybe what it is of like, hey, take the week off type of thing.
It's a
Because he
hot
didn't.
take. Yeah.
Hey, I don't think he didn't really mention, "Oh, yeah, he's gonna be back next week," or, he didn't really talk about any of that. Like, it seemed like, when kind of these personal reasons come up, it's like, okay, like, it's just something going on right now. He'll be back next week, but we thought it'd be best to, have him take off as of now. So I think it could be more than just, oh yeah, he's off for this
That's
week.
hot. I flip the other way with it because I know in business, whenever someone has something personal, I am just like, I ain't gonna say anything. And I'm the quicker the better,
Yeah.
the less details the better. So yeah, time will tell. Maybe he's just hanging out with Nate Davis too much. Maybe that's what it is. And they're like, listen, because I do agree with you that Flus, I don't see a way that Flus would be excited about the defensive performance at all. But
Mhm.
still, yeah. I think with Alan Williams, we talk about the coaching, and there's so many coaching flaws that we saw last week. And that's where I am pumped about seeing this. I'm really excited to see. I don't think that it's going to be too much difference, but I just feel like Flus isn't going to let some things fly. I
Yeah.
think that it should be better. And I think right now, Flus wanted to come in and be the manager that says, hey, everybody, you do you, and we're going to let this happen, and I'm going to delegate. And then now he's going, my defense sucks. My job is on the line if we keep losing games. So I think that this is good. And obviously, with personal reasons, we hope everything's okay. And we hope that, honestly, I hope that you're right, PayPal, because then that means nothing bad in his life is going on besides Eberflus coming down hard on him.
Yeah.
But I also forgot to mention a couple more things just about the Buccaneers as a whole. So the Buccaneers are 1-0, surprised a lot of teams with beating the Minnesota Vikings, even though Minnesota lost again last night, and it wasn't a very pretty game. I mean, pretty for us Bears fans when they were going against the Eagles. But during that game, Tampa Bay allowed 300, or we'll talk about the Bears defense. So they threw for 169 nice passing yards and 73 rushing yards. Now, the crazy part too, Minnesota Vikings defense doesn't look all that great, but they held them to 2.2 rushing yards a carry for Tampa Bay. So overall, not great. And this was a former offense that had Tom Brady and then also Ryan Jensen retiring as well. So they're a little bit banged up on this offensive side of the ball. Let's just take a look at their offense overall up here. But yeah, so also another little bit too is that Eberflus, like overall with this defense, we had the 6th lowest blitz percentage at 16%. Not really a big shock there. And I also look at the Bears' third down percentage, 56.3%. They allowed the Packers to complete third down. Have to get better like that. But I think the storyline for me going into this, besides Eberflus that we already talked about, is going to be how the Bears get pressure on Baker Mayfield. Because, PayPal, this is like a carbon copy of the offensive line that we saw last week. Their left tackle is their strongest player with Tristan Wirfs, who is phenomenal. Then you have Matt Filer, who is a good left guard. And then you look at the middle. Cody Mauch, a lot of people wanted him for the Bears, kind of struggled, not terrible at that right guard spot. Hainsey as the center, not a great center. And Gadecki, who is a second-year player like Zach Tom, who played a little bit better than he did last season, but is still a second-year player. I'm looking at this right-hand side of the line and going, okay, Bears, what can we do to create a little bit more pressure? I'm looking at you, Justin Jones. I'm looking at you, Dominique Robinson. I think that the key thing is going to be generating pressure with just 4 people so that you can cover some of these larger scale wide receivers.
Yeah, I guess I'm honestly on the opposite end of like, hey, will we actually see some blitzing? But I guess with Eberflus at helm, like, I don't know if he will kind of withstand his defense and, make those blitzing. But hey, like when times were tough last year and we couldn't blitz, we couldn't get any pressure. It's like, hey, at least we put Jaquan Brisker down there. We had a safety blitz, Kyler Gordon. So I think, honestly, I'm not opposed to blitzing because heck, we're facing one of the teams that has the highest blitz rate in the NFL. So I think we saw how bad it was for, Jordan Love last week of he had no pressure. He just was having a heyday. Not saying I could do it, but it was like, hey, like he just was so relaxed in the pocket. That's where he just got so much confidence, and we need to be pressuring them. And honestly, a lot of the sacks last time, it was kind of not lucky, but it was like, hey, that wasn't a one-on-one matchup that Yannick won. It wasn't a one-on-one matchup that we're seeing DeMarcus, we're not seeing Robinson just win or Walker or any of these guys. So I'm kind of, will this defensive line kind of change, Brad? We'll see. We're only changing the coach. We'll see if the mentality of the guys change as well.
Yeah, and Cornelius saying, I heard George McCaskey paid them an unexpected visit this week. Interesting. Interesting murmurs, like we said, right? maybe you're right, PayPal, with some of the murmurs out there. But
Yeah.
also, too, I want to say the Bears' defensive line, not the greatest, but the Vikings have a better defensive line with trying to get some of that pressure out there. They had, so right now, and yet again, it's just 1 week, but the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have the 8th best pressure percentage from an offensive line perspective. So Baker Mayfield was only pressured on 15.8% of their dropbacks. So that doesn't look too great for the Bears, who obviously we did not get a lot of pressure. We need to snap out of it. We need to attack the quarterback. But
Yeah,
PayPal,
imagine I
yeah,
wonder who number 1 is in pressure, pressure protection. Maybe the Packers?
yeah, it
And then
might be.
probably the worst is probably the Bears with like 50% cuz yeah, it was like they had like 20 pressures last week, so
Yeah, Nate
yeah.
Davis might be like third. Nate Davis might be first in a category all by himself. He's 33rd
Yeah.
on the list.
Yeah.
The Bears minus him are probably like 10th.
Yeah. Yeah.
but let's go over to the running game, PayPal, because the running game, I was looking at some of the stats, and just fun fact, 0 broken tackles for White, and also he was hit 1.2 yards before his first contact, which was 38th. So overall, not great run blocking. Do you think that the Bears are going to be able to stop the run for a change?
Yeah, like I don't think the Vikings are a good run stuffing team at all. And they held their team to they held the Buccaneers to 2.2 yards per carry. So yeah, it's like I think the Bears can actually show up against these guys because heck, all those running backs they did have are all gone. Um, so now we kind of can show off if we do have that run defense, and we'll see. I'm honestly excited at this part because yeah, the Vikings don't have a good run defense, and we saw it against the Eagles game
Yeah.
Monday, and and it's just or yesterday, and it was atrocious. So if the Bucks weren't able to run against them, it's like no way they can run against our defense. Hopefully that kind of provides plays for Javon Dexter, kind of these young rookies to kind of shine and get their confidence up. Because honestly, what this whole team needs in general is confidence, I think, at this point, and kind of the hey, we can actually do this instead of getting embarrassed. So
Yeah.
this game, it's like if we can win at some sort of the field, part of the game this week, I think it's huge.
Yeah, and I'm looking at Justin Jones this week because PayPal, I had a dream about Justin Jones last night. He haunts my dreams because last night I was watching the Eagles Vikings game, and who did I see popping off like crazy?
Yeah.
Jalen Carter. Jalen Carter was looking so freaking good, so great. I'm sitting there going, God, Justin Jones is our 3 technique in a Tampa 2 system, and the guy didn't even register a tackle last week against our largest rival. And the guy that's been talking the most smack, that's something that we definitely need to see, and we need to see him make a difference because Billings is only going to be out there for first and second down. And we said it. Billings looked good. But also I'm going to kind of call out DeMarcus Walker. He was solid, but if he's going to be that leader, he needs to show what he's capable of. We didn't talk about this much. About 1/4 of his snaps, he actually played at defensive tackle. And that's what I want to see more out of him is going against a rookie Cody Mauch. Show what you can do against him because he's a rookie. The interior is soft. Do something. And Gadecki, second-year player, it's hard to kind of judge. He looked good last game, but we'll have to see. But PayPal, we have not talked about these wide receivers. Now, going to be going against Greg Stroman Jr. So like we said, Greg Stroman Jr. is a solid slot corner. I don't mind it too much, but he's going against Chris Godwin, phenomenal route runner. And then you have Mike Evans, the ageless wonder on the outside, probably going to get a catch for a touchdown. And then we have Trey Palmer, the rookie out of Nebraska. Now, Palmer, not a lot of people might have known about him, but he is a speedster. He is ridiculously fast. He is the off-brand Christian Watson, where he's still a crazy athlete, tall player, but not really a wide receiver. Don't let him beat you deep, Eddie Jackson. Don't let him get the steps. You need to give him some space in case he goes over the top. That's what he is going to be trying to do. But when I look at this matchup, our defensive backs against their wide receivers, I'm not too worried about it except in the slot. So I think that you
Mhm.
can kind of shade it, make it give them a little bit of help. Give Stroman some help in the slot. But I really like the matchups. And I have the graphic up right here with the Bears defense. And kudos out to the Bears. And yet again, these are just PFF grades, so take them with a grain of salt. Eddie Jackson, 13th highest rated safety last week. Jalen Johnson, 31st highest graded corner. Brisker, 39th. And Tyreek Stevenson, 26th, like we said. So, relatively speaking, they played well against the consensus of the cornerbacks. And I do agree with those ratings. Jackson is up in the air. I felt Jackson had an up and down game, but I did feel like the corners were good. And I think we're going to continue to see a good performance out of these corners. And I'm excited to see Tyreek Stevenson going against Mike Evans in some contested catch situations because, like we said, Stevenson can make a play on the ball. I think they're going to be trying to throw it to him, and I'm going to be excited to see what he can do.
Yeah, I wonder what these linebackers can do as well, because yeah, Edwards and Edmonds just did not, really impress. I think they had some plays where, Edmonds had his plays where it's like, okay, you saw him kind of make a tackle, for tackle for loss or a hard hit, but you didn't really see any of them affecting the middle of the field. I mean, we kind of said it last week with the Packers. It seemed like they could just pass it in the middle of the field with no repercussions. So that's kind of something I'm looking for in that passing game. As hey, like, can the linebackers help out the secondary? Because the secondary is not the problem in the passing
Yeah,
situations.
it's the front six, so to speak. The front six, the front seven. Maybe you put Jack Sanborn out there and get him kind of pass rushing and doing some exotic
Yeah.
stuff. We have Noah Sewell. I've talked about this before. Do a blitz package, do something, right? So that's where I want to see. So I want to see that out there. But yeah, so also we're getting the party going with the chat. We got Chris, we got Broski, we got Mr. Mayhem out here, all out here. And also Chris saying he got himself a new puppy recently as well. You ain't kidding about the amount of work. My God, yes. And I have the 10-month old, almost 11-month old now. Yeah, it's a lot. My wife and I were like, he seemed very calm when we got him, but now it's just constant. He's accidents in the house, kind of chews on the kids a little bit, like not bad, but just it's a lot of stuff. It's a lot of stuff that
Little
obviously
nips, yeah.
puppy. He's
It's a
4
puppy
months old.
thing. Yeah.
Yeah, it's 4 months old, so we're like, yeah, we'll just kind of figure it out. Last time I had him tied up, he chewed up one of the doors. So, yeah, it'll be good times. But PayPal, it is time for us to decide who are our X factors on the Bears defense. Also, everybody watching, let us know down below. So, the X factor again is the player that needs to have a great impact that can really turn the tide of this game. PayPal, who do you have as your X factor for this Bears defense?
Yeah, I think you kind of said it with Justin Jones. I think that's the guy who just needs to
Come on.
start getting pressure from up front. I mean, I was gonna basically say anyone on this defensive line, but he's the guy that's been here the longest, out of that group. I mean, he's the same, I think, with Robinson technically, but hey, he's just got to show why he's here and actually make a play, get a tackle, like, get some pressure, get some penetration and pressure the quarterback because he was one of those guys I thought he was gonna have we're gonna see like, wow, like with the new defensive line, he's a lot better and he's making more plays, but we haven't seen anything out of you. So I really think with the matchups he has with those guards, like he can make some plays, hopefully get a sack against Baker, and force Baker to those edges, and uh, yeah, hopefully to Yannick and get a sack that way.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I think that it has to be on the defensive line. I kind of look at Eddie Jackson, though, as like I said about Trey Palmer, you kind of cover in the deep ball and try and stop it that way. But I think ultimately it goes goes with getting pressure, goes with attacking. And I'm going to say DeMarcus Walker. I think DeMarcus Walker is going to be the X factor in this game because I think that he needs to make his presence felt on the inside, in the outside, be the leader. Because Justin Jones has never sniffed a year like Walker has had with like the way that he played last year. I think that Walker does need to show why they paid him the money and why he should be the leader out there. I think he's the huge X factor because Yannick Ngakoue is going to get his. Like he's going to do Yannick things. He's going to do Ngakoue things. He's going to stuff the stat sheet. He's going to make plays. So to me, it's going to be Walker. It's going to come down to him. But let's see what we have out here as well. We got some Justin Jones. Broski said Justin Jones is a backup or practice squad player on a good defense. I mean, he was a backup for the Chargers, and the Chargers did not have good defensive tackles. Yeah, we got Jones, run stuffer. Yeah, ridiculous. Yeah. So and Chris saying Jones was a run stuffer with the Chargers, but then expect him to be a pass rush 3 tech is just ridiculous. I agree. But yeah, it's going to be crazy. Hopefully they can put it together because like you said, PayPal, the secondary is good. The secondary is playing well. And now Greg Stroman's going to be kind of the weak link, but I still don't like the secondary. I feel very comfortable with. And
that's just like last year. All the stuff so far is we have not changed. And I think especially for this defense, it's like, hey, yeah, can this front seven actually help out the secondary? Because the secondary, I mean, I see why they, maybe lost motivation, quote unquote, because hey, that front seven, they weren't winning reps the entire game, so they lost motivation, which then trickled down to the secondary. So honestly, it's just with this defense, especially like start out hot, like keep that momentum going. And I think we said it before. I think Eberflus, honestly, he's kind of the X factor too for this defense.
For real.
I think he can maybe help get more energy out of these guys and not get down, and yeah.
And I've heard Alan Williams in press conferences, and I like the guy.
Yeah, same.
It's just your defense. Your defense I do not like. But also, I feel for the defensive lineman because if I couldn't get past my guy over and over and over again, I would lose confidence too. So hopefully, make me eat my words, right? Change the narrative. Do something. And even Pickens, I see Pickens and Javon in the comments too, where those are some other people to look out for. Like Pickens to me is one of those splash play guys. I think he's going to have a splash play. So hopefully it's a sack. Hopefully it's him just kind of getting past his guy. But PayPal, let's flip it. Let's talk offense. Let's talk none other than Justin Fields. So obviously we know that Justin Fields had a down game or fairly down game overall from the offensive side. But when we're looking about what the Minnesota Vikings did against them, Kirk Cousins threw for 344 yards against them, and they ran for 41 yards and averaged 2.4 yards overall. But also a little bit about them too. They love to blitz. They have the highest blitz percentage according to Pro Football Reference at 44.7%. They only missed 2 tackles, which I think was top 5. And also they only allow 5.9 yards per play, which is the third, or actually no, they allow 5.9 yards per play, probably because Minnesota throwing the ball downfield, which was the third highest. And also they only allowed, like I mentioned, 2.4 yards a carry. But PayPal, when you look at this defense, is this going to be the Justin Fields comeback story? Is he going to ball out? What are you feeling with Fields?
It's got to be. You know what I mean? Like it's got to be. Like you look at the injuries of this Buccaneers team and it's like all pass rush or secondary players, Like you look at Carlton Davis, he's injured. Nichols, he's injured. Kalijah Cansey, he's injured. So it's like all these guys that help in their pass rush are injured. So pass rush and pass defense are injured. So it's like this is the time to shine. Like their secondary has not really looked the best ever since kind of getting not Antoine Winfield, the guy that just balled out. I'm blanking on his name, but their secondary just has not looked the same ever since that. So I think this is where we got to capitalize and really, show that we can have the deep ball. Like, I think, will we get more from more, And I think we have to, like, at this point. And I think Lucas, that kind of comes from the offensive line personally, but hey, we'll see kind of what happens with that. If our offensive line can block, I think that's kind of when Justin Fields can succeed. And looking at their defensive line, like, even with Kalijah Kancey, they got some names, Brad. They
Yeah.
still got like the same guys that they've had for, it feels like 10 years, but it's probably 3 years. With Shaquille Barrett and Vita Vea and Tryon Shoyinka. Like, he's
Yep.
a physical freak. Like, he's really fast on that edge. He always is kind of that guy. He looks even faster because he wears that number 9.
Yeah, and I believe too that Logan Hall, now the new defensive kind of tackle that's going in for Kalijah Kancey, had the most sacks out of all defensive tackles last year, but he kind of cheated because he played defensive end a whole bunch. So, but still pretty good. Like, and I agree, their front four is great, and that's why I'm hoping they keep blitzing. Because to me, I'd rather have them blitz because I know, Lord knows, the interior's not going to hold up. So
Yeah.
I hope they blitz, and I hope, you said it, DJ Moore, he should have a huge game. He should have a huge game on Sunday, because this is why you got a number 1 wide receiver. You got a number 1 wide receiver so that you can audible out. You can call a hot route. Have Justin Fields see what's going on in front of him and call out of a play. And know who your hot receiver is when they blitz. DJ Moore is going to be open. If they are doing their cover 0, for those that don't know, when they basically send the house and it's just man-to-man on the outside, everyone covers 1, that's when Justin Fields needs to throw it to his number 1 guy and let DJ Moore show you why you shouldn't throw it to him, right?
Yeah.
Which he hasn't. Like, throw him the rock. He will make a play. He'll make people miss. And if it's cover 0, dude, just do a quick little slant and he'll just take that thing to the house. They're not going to tackle him. So
Yeah.
I think he should. I don't want to give away my prediction, but I think that DJ Moore is primed for a huge game. If he does not go over 100 yards, I think that Getsy Fields has failed DJ Moore, because he should go off against this defense.
Yeah, we are breaking DJ Moore's like 1,000-yard season, like as of week 1. I mean, if he stays on that track, he's not getting 1,000 yards, and that's pretty embarrassing because he's able to do that with Carolina.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's like, hey, just throw it his way. I think you said it perfectly, because I think of like Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams when, if we faced them, of like, hey, if they saw a blitz coming, it was like, I don't know you. I'd watch this game like they're going to throw it to Devontae Adams, because it's like, if they're in single coverage, no one can guard Devontae Adams man to man, like one-on-one. Same thing with DJ Moore. So yeah, just throw it to him. So honestly, another kind of thing game plan wise in this passing game, Brad, I throw it downfield, like just throw it forward, throw it. Stop with this lateral game plan that they drew up last week. Like, what on earth was that? So quit it with the wide receiver screens, unless it, Chase Claypool can start blocking on the outside like that, or maybe EQ St. Brown is actually playing, which, heck, I never thought I'd be happy to see him out there, but I might be happy to see him out there instead of Claypool. So yeah, no more sideways passes, because everything on this offense doesn't work for those passes. Justin Fields is terrible at throwing those passes.
This is what I think is,
we can't block those on the outside.
It's kind of funny. Do you know what goes really well against blitzing?
Against blitz? Yeah. Yeah, right? Yeah.
Screens are actually really good against the blitz. So I am curious to see what they do. Because, like, if you had the game plan last week and this week, it's a good game plan.
Yeah.
It's a perfect game plan. You're gonna hit them with When someone blitzes you, you throw screens, right? So are they going to be doing that? But do you know what I would do if I was Luke Getsy?
Huh.
As soon as I see I would start Chase Claypool. And as soon as he messes up, or as soon as he stops trying, as soon as he doesn't block, I'm taking him out and I'm putting in Tyler Scott. Because it's like,
Yeah.
if you don't want to be here and you're going to show that terrible attitude, I don't want to see you out there. But also, the reason why I love the idea of Tyler Scott being out there, like we said, they play a lot of cover zero. No man behind him, no safety behind it. So if you get people pressing up, they don't understand how fast Tyler Scott is. They know that he's fast, right? When you get that cover zero shot, you're going to see him fly right by Zion McCollum, the the second year guy out of Sam Houston State, right? You could put him in the slot. And we know that Christian Eisen, what we said, is questionable, might not play. So to me, I love the idea of having a Tyler Scott out there who he can run ridiculously fast. So that's my thing is I like the idea of quick slants, deep passes, show off the speed, let your number one wide receiver do number one wide receiver things and give him a chance. Because when he gets the ball, like I think you said this after the Bears game, someone was saying, thank God you weren't throwing it to DJ Moore anymore. It's like, yeah.
Yeah.
Isn't that great?
Yeah, isn't that great? Yeah, it's like you like they only saw 2 receptions from him, but they're like, thank God, like you can see that people are like, wow, he's a really big game changer. And it was like that's how we should have treated, we should have treated DJ Moore like they treated the running back, whatever the money shades man, the running back, but anyways, like
Yeah.
he is the game plan of this game. I think we all want to see, at least 10 plus targets, if not 10 plus receptions from DJ Moore, because no one's gonna stop this man. And honestly, I think this kind of segment, I don't know if we're gonna try to segment into this running game, but like I think
How you feeling?
Roshan being a pass blocker, he might be out there more. We'll
Yeah,
see if he's kind
agreed.
of going to be that run, pass blocker for this blitz. We'll see if that happens. I know sometimes, yeah, just kind of give a chip block. Herbert hasn't really shown that he can do that yet. And Roshan showed all the reason why he should even be the starting back because of his running. So
Yeah,
we see more of Roshan.
I agree. I think that Roshan should start. I think that he should be or get because we saw it on third down. He was the third down back that was going out there. And that's where when you see a Deonta Foreman, I hate saying it because he did sign my son's football. And it is like a personal thing. You're like, thank you. Like you're so nice. But also I don't know, I don't understand what you bring that's different than Khalil Herbert and Roshan Johnson. Because he is a veteran, he's a solid player. We saw some angry runs out of him last week. But Roshan Johnson is a great blocker. And yeah, I think that he should be starting this week, especially. That's a very good point because you put out the best run blocker out there because you don't want Khalil Herbert to get confused. We've seen this time and time again. He doesn't know where to be. So maybe it's the same thing like with Chase Claypool, where, okay, Herbert, if you miss someone, then you're out. But at the same time, do you really want to roll the dice with your quarterback? That's why, to me, just put Roshan out there. Chris going, Yeah, like Roshan is just so much fun to watch. But do you think that, regardless of running back, do you think they even get something going? They've always had a good run defense with White, with David, with Vita Vea and up the middle. What do you think?
Yeah, I honestly think it's with our offensive guards and how they blocked, like honestly, if we're just talking like with that, like I don't worry about our running backs. It's all the offensive line at this point, even when we're talking about the passing game, it's like I think of it's all offensive line. But yeah, Vita Vea, he's gonna be scary if he's lined up over Nate Davis. Honestly, with Cody Whitehair, I mean, heck, like he showed like he actually was able to play guard. Like I think last year we were both we didn't like him as much as guard. He was kind of dwindling down, and then it was like, oh, at center, like we would love to have him at center. Like he knows offense really well. He's a great leader. But yeah, Nate Davis and then Lucas Patrick. If Vita Vea is just over both of them, like, one hand on each of those guys, and hello, whoever the running back is, or it's game over. So I will see how Vita Vea is against
And
these
and this is the
interior
thing.
guys.
This is the best part about getting your butt whooped week 1, right? Because they were saying it that they were coming in way too cocky, and as bad as it was, you were flat out embarrassed. Nate Davis. So let's just say hypothetically that report that came out was correct, right? Just for a second, we'll say, what if it is correct that Nate Davis did not go with the hits principle? He did not show effort in practice, and that's why he wasn't practicing. He was fed up with it, and then you get your butt whooped, and you allow 9 pressures, and you just look like an idiot out there in the pass in pass block. He did. He was terrible. He is not that caliber of player. He's not a bad player. What we saw week 1 is not what Nate Davis actually is. So I hope he wakes up, and I hope that he shows that he's a lot better than what he did week 1. So, yeah, so fans aren't just completely insulting him because we just paid $10 million a year for this player. But when you look at everybody else, Vita Vea, very nerve-wracking out there. Barrett, Shoyanka, both 2 good players on the defensive, on the outside. But the big question is going to be the battle on the interior because Vita Vea is fast, he's strong, and Lucas Patrick has shown that he is one of the he was a bad center last week, and he was a bad guard last year. So when is Dan Feeney coming in? Because Dan Feeney is waiting in the wings, and also our boy Jatiri Carter is also waiting in the wings. So people need to step up.
Man.
Whitehair, I feel like he can bounce back. We've seen it before. He always has like a bad game, and then he goes on a stretch of like 8 games playing like the best center or guard in the league, and then it's like 50% of his year is bad. The other 50% is like top 5. Just amazing.
Yeah, I wonder. I don't know if they would do any changes at offensive line. Like, I think they kind of have to just stay with Nate Davis because, I don't know if they would have Tyree Carter swap in with him. Like, the only switch I could think of them doing, and honestly, what we kind of said like first week is that I just hope they put Tyree Carter instead of in at left guard and then move Cody Whitehair to center because just at least get Lucas Patrick out of the system. I think Nate Davis, like you were saying, I think it's going to just come with time. I think he just hasn't played enough with these guys where just get Lucas Patrick out of there. Like he has not shown any reason why he should be on this football team. And yeah, Broski Bear, I think Dan Feeney would be fun to have out there. I don't know if he's ready yet to I don't know how similar the offense he played with,
At the Jets, it's fairly similar because it's still it was a Mike LaFleur offense. So it's similar to Matt LaFleur's with the Packers and everything. So it's a fairly similar. So, and also he chugs beers like on the daily. So I think also can you imagine him lifting up this team and just getting everybody excited? And also too, if Patrick continues to show this, like, you just got to cut base. You just got to honestly get rid of him and try to do something because the center position seems difficult. But I do agree with Cornelius that Nate Davis will be better, right? He should. It's when you look at the team and you look at the players, Whitehair is a better player than what he put on tape against the Packers. Nate Davis is a better player than what he put on tape against the Packers. Lucas Patrick, we can't say anything here or there about him because what we see is what we get with him. And so far, it's been bad. But PayPal, I think that about sums up the offensive side of the ball for the Bears. So now, I ask you the question, who is your X factor on this Bears offense?
Yeah, I mean, we kind of talked about a few names out there, and honestly, we didn't even mention Cole Kmet. First off, I think
Yeah, we did. We always
for
skip over the tight ends.
yeah, we always go, but I just want to mention with Cole Kmet, like I hope we see targets from him. Like he really is a talented player. We saw it near the end of the game in the
Yeah.
Packers. Like he's a great target to give it to. Like he's got speed, he's got, strength. So it's like he's hard to tackle. So just give it to him. Like he's a great blocker, and I just hope he gets the ball more, and we're able to. And this is a great segment into my, my person who's the X factor. It's honestly just, can I give it to Nate Davis? I think he's kind of the X factor of
Ooh, yeah.
kind of filling in this interior spot and not giving up 9-10 pressures last week. Like look good, especially when you're next to this rookie. I think it's super
Yeah.
vital to be like, hey, to be the veteran in the room and be looking good next to this rookie. Like he got outshined by Darnell Wright playing his first NFL game ever. So that's got to say something. Hopefully that was a wake up call for him. And hopefully if he was going through personal reasons stuff, hopefully his mental health, his physical health is all good now, and he can kind of reset and show off what he can do, cuz I think he really fits this offense well with the running back screen game. And I'm not going to say wide receiver screen game because I hate those, so
Unless it's DJ Moore.
unless it's DJ, yeah.
And we don't have Chase Claypool blocking. So
And Broski Bear said it perfect. Target Mooney, target Cole Kmet, Roshan, and Mooney. Those are our playmakers.
yeah.
It's plain and simple. Give them the ball more, and we need Nate Davis to help block that O line or D line.
You target the playmakers, you let them do their thing. And yeah, Darnell Wright, I'm glad you brought him up because we haven't talked too much about him. He was a good run blocker, like we said. And it's just he's got a lot to learn, and you see it with that. But I think the exciting part about Darnell Wright is you see the core tools. He is huge, he is fast, and he's got really good hands. So it's just him learning the game and getting used to things. So he has an easier task this week, but kind of a slightly different one because Joe Tyron is more of like a big athlete. So it's still highly athletic like Rashawn Gary, but Rashawn Gary is one of the strongest outside linebackers that he's going to face. But Shaquille Barrett is a little bit faster, quicker. So we'll see how he handles the quickness over the pure power of a Rashawn Gary. But X factor on offense, it's too easy to go Justin Fields, I feel, with like this, because I want to give it to him. You know what? I'm going to give it to him. I'm going to give it to him because I think DJ Moore is going to do DJ Moore things, and it's up to Justin Fields to identify the blitz and get the ball to his playmaker. It's easy to say the X factor is the quarterback, but I'm going with it because it's so important against the blitz. You're going to get pressured. You're going to get hit. We saw him stand strong in the pocket a handful of times. He needs to be right in between the ears and just give it to DJ Moore. Just give him a shot. He's going to make you look good. Like, hey, I'll be back there just lobbing up passes to him. I know it's not that easy, but he should be doing that to him. Also, we got T-Dub out there in the comments. How you doing, my friend? But yeah, so that is our X factors for the offensive side of the ball. So PayPal, we have gone through the offense and we have gone through the defense. So that leads us to the greatest segment of all time, the special teams review. This is where the game gets won, PayPal, because yes, we looked like idiots on offense and defense last week, but guess who had the third worst special teams? We did.
Yeah.
We had the third worst special team defense. We allowed 18 yards per punt return and 27.5 yards per kick return. We have to be better, but PayPal, what do you have for the special teams review?
Do you know who did look good though? The guillotine, Trenton Gill. He's always looking consistent out there. Kyra Santos, no doubters every single time. We always just gotta pay dues to him because heck, we know the Cody Parkey days when we were, we're trying to get a new kicker after that season, and it was just stressful. So, and also talking about stressful, like we finally have that punt returner. Trent Taylor didn't have anything anything like, oh my gosh, look, he's returning, punt return for a touchdown. But if we don't have to worry about him, it's the best feeling in the world because every single time, Valus was back there, it was like, oh my gosh, is he going to drop this ball? Like, it's going to be so bad. And then it happens and you're just like crying. It's like, oh man. But Trent Taylor's back there. We're confident in his punt and return game.
Oh yeah, I agree, and also I agree with Broski saying I thought the punts were good too, but I'm looking at PFF has them graded as the 32nd special teams. So I mean, if someone really wants to grade special teams, they can. And Tampa Bay is tied for the 6th. It's just fun fact for highest graded. Also, Broski out there sipping some good tequila right now. I don't even know how to pronounce that. But also, Hispanic Heritage Month just started. So, to all of our Hispanic fans out there, happy Hispanic Heritage Month.
Yeah,
so,
drink some tequila.
Yeah, Broski's already out there. I might have to. I got some mezcal, so I might try.
I think that's the
crack
rule
that open.
is you have to drink tequia it increases every day. So we should be at 15 shots by now.
Yeah, it might help if we get our butts whooped. So, but I think you covered the special team stuff pretty well. We just have to be better. And also something that I'm looking out for is Velus Jones, because Velus Jones is a good gunner on special teams. I think it was Hightower was talking about how they need to get there a lot sooner. They need to be able to pin him down. So I think overall they were really looking at Velus Jones might be good in that situation, but Velus Jones is Velus Jones. How much can you trust him on the special teams side? But PayPal, let's flip over to who has the edge, and we can just fire through some of these as we get into our game predictions. So let's go over to the Buccaneers run defense versus the Bears running offense. PayPal, I'll give you this one. What do you think about that one?
Yeah, I think honestly our running game is pretty good. We got the running backs for it, but do we have the offensive line? Are they going to show up? I just don't like having Vita Vea in there. I don't think we'll be able to run it in the interior of the offensive line. It's going to be a struggle, but I think we could possibly win this. But as of now, with Vita Vea in there and, Shaq Barrett, one of the best edge not run stuffers, edge setters, you got to give it to the Bucs.
Yeah, it's going to be hard. And also, one thing real quick, Cornelius also said Dylan Cole. Cole also supposedly good special teamer. So he should be out there playing. And yeah, he seems healthy now. So he should be out there as the backup and also special teamer. Maybe that will turn the tides in this special teams defense. So I have the next one. We're doing Bears run defense versus the Buccaneers running offense. I'm actually going to give it to the Bears. I am giving it to the Bears. I think that they're going to be with Flus. The thing that Flus did very well at the Colts was stop the run. And the big reason was he put people in the right position. I think he's going to be on them. I think he's going to be barking them out. I think he's going to take a lot of pride in this because this is his job that he wants to keep. He loves tradition. He loves history. He wants to be the Bears head coach. He's going to do everything that he can, and stopping the run is what he does. And if he gives up running attack against the Buccaneers, who, makes Matt Nagy look like a running offensive genius, because they have had a worse running attack than the Bears had last year, and this year it still looks really bad. We have to stop these guys. We are going to stop these guys. I'm giving it to the Bears. PayPal, you have the Bears passing offense versus the Buccaneers passing defense. Who do you have there?
Yeah, I gotta go with again. It's so tough to say with this offensive line, Brad. You gave me the hard ones. This offensive line is just so bad. Where I honestly think, until I see it, I mean, DJ Moore's out there, Darnell Mooney's out there, Cole Kmet's out there, Roschon Johnson's there in the passing game, but we still have this offensive line. I have to give it to the Buccaneers. I hate to say it. That's just my confidence level in this offense right now, Brad. And if they can fix it, then I will gladly say it next week. that the Bears are on it, but not this week.
Oh man. And also Black Rain saying heard it will be over 90 degrees. It will be at Tampa Bay, so it will be hot. It'll be crazy hot down there. And brace for the humidity. We've been kind of getting a little dose of fall. It'll be interesting for sure. So,
Yeah.
and last but not least, the Buccaneers passing offense versus the Bears passing defense. I'm giving it to the Bears. I like this secondary. I think the secondary stops them. And yet again, I think the discipline that the Bears will be playing with, I think that is going to be the difference in this game. We messed up. We played like idiots out there. The coaching staff, if you're not barking at them, if you aren't getting angry at them, I don't know what you're doing. So I think that the Bears are going to be coming home. Also, Philip's out there too.
Hey, Phil, what up?
Yeah, Philip out here as well. But let's get there. And also, I like Broski saying, unlike the Bears coaching staff, you guys have a game plan that you execute with the show structure. Appreciate that for sure, man. But let's go over to some of these over-unders. And I'm curious out there in the comments what everyone else is thinking about this. We had a great bet last week that we found out about, which was Chase Claypool over 15 and a half yards, which should have been a no-brainer. But unfortunately, he got nothing. So let's go over to this. So PayPal, first one, over under 41 points.
41 points. Hit the over every time the Bears.
I'm feeling that, yeah.
Yeah, every time. I think they're 9 for 12 so far. Like the past, 12 games, they're 9 for 12. And I think it's ever since we started that New England game. I mean, we were able to create offense, but then sometimes our defense just isn't that they stand still or they're not protecting the end zone. So I think it's a easy over, 20 points at least for the Bears.
Nice. And the next one, Khalil Herbert, 44 and a half rushing yards. I'm actually going under because of Roschon Johnson, a good running defense. I don't think that I honestly might take that bet because I don't think that last week he had 10 carries, and yes, he was the number one guy, and Bears got blown out, so they put in Roschon. But I think Roschon showed you everything, all the stuff that we talked about. I'm hammering the under on that. Then also, you got Justin Fields, 176 passing yards, over or under?
Oh, over. It's always hard to calculate this stuff with if you're incorporating sacks because there's going to be a sack occasionally in there, and heck, most of the time it's not Justin Fields' fault, but we saw it last week. He passed for over 200 yards. It was a 230, I believe. So I believe he's going to do it again. This is how you attack this defense. It's going to be through passing. So it's going to force us to pass and not, go to our running game as much. So hit that over all day.
Awesome. And I'm just getting the next thing all set up. And last one, Darnell Mooney, 33 and a half receiving yards. I'm going over. I think that like we said, the slot is going to be open. I think he can audible to some quicker passes. I think that he should be able to get that ball. Give it to Darnell Mooney, especially since we have two wide receivers we can count on right now that are out there. True wide receivers out there. So again, Claypool, if you're listening, change the narrative, my man.
Hey, one quick thing is, I love all the energy of all the Bears saying we're gonna win, all this energy, and it makes me think of, and before we do our predictions, the game predictions, the score is like I don't know if you caught this. I forgot whose interview it was, but apparently Fields talked to Jaquan Brisker about like energy and that they need to bring energy in this next game and just not let up. So I think that was something I love to hear because it's an offensive guy, offensive leader talking to defensive leader, and they're going to bring it. And I really think hopefully that changes kind of this outcome of this game. And like TJ said in the chat of, hey, maybe this is the Bears are just everyone's going to do better because the energy is going to be up and we're not going to let down. So I hope that happens.
For real. Like it's week 1. We see what happens. Like the San Francisco 49ers lost to us last year, week 1.
Yeah.
And they turned out pretty Well, and yet again, you have to have something bad like this. You have to get nipped in the butt, and then hopefully they can turn this
Mhm.
thing around. PayPal, it is prediction time. Who do you have winning? And everyone listening, everybody watching, let us know down in the comments. Let us know what the score will be and one bold take for the game.
Yeah, I think this team, like the Packers defense I think is better than this Buccaneers defense, if I'm being completely honest, just from the pure speed and athleticism of that defense, and kind of they have that young, hungry energy. So I think the Bears are scoring more points this week. I'm saying Bears 28, Buccaneers 20. Um, Baker's gonna kind of still do pretty well out there. This defense, though, uh, we're gonna get those turnovers this week with Eberflus out there. We didn't have those turnovers last week. I think that's kind of maybe why Eberflus was maybe frustrated, like not implementing that. Williams wasn't implementing that hits principle like he wanted it to. So I said it last week, but I really think it's gonna happen. Is Stevenson,
Okay.
he's gonna try to get picked on. He's gonna get an interception, and also look for Eddie Jackson. He's gonna get one. That's gonna get the team pumped up. That's gonna get the energy going, and we're just gonna make a run. 28-20, Bears win.
All right, all right, all right. 28-20. You have them. I got to go Bears as well with this too. I feel like the Bears need to they need to get this win because you're going against Kansas City the following week. And that will ruin your season if you get another loss. This is a must-win game for the Bears. They have to do everything. You have Eberflus with the reins. I think the Bears win. I'm going to go back to 20 let's see. Let's go 31-24. I think that
Okay.
they'll be putting up some points. I mean, tip 31-20. You know what? I say the Bears win pretty big because they come out. Tampa Bay's offense isn't doing too much. They have a lot of injuries on that defense. You know what? This is going to be the last time that I'm optimistic on the Bears if they lose, or if they lose again. I would be like, it's good. They're going to lose by 50. So we got to go with the Bears, man. We got to go with the Bears. They have to do something here. Otherwise, it's going to be terrible. Bears got to win. T-Dub out there saying 27-21. TJ saying
Oh,
27-24 Bears. Philip saying 24-20 Bears. And then Bears Bone saying, who is tired of saying execute leads to energy. They are supposed to be professionals. Bring the energy. Agree. That is
agreed.
well said, Bears Bones, because like they preach about this culture and they did nothing. They
They did
they
not
did not
bring the
try.
juice.
They did not do anything. John out there says the Bears have built an organization of zero accountability. Yeah,
We'll see.
yeah, and then Broski's saying high scoring baseball game, 14-13 Bears. He might be right with that too. Like not a bunch of people, bunch of offenses not really doing too much out there. But my bold take, my bold prediction, right? We got to go bold with this. So also, I didn't see a lot of bold predictions out there. So let me know a bold prediction. Big time prediction. I'm gonna go big and say DJ Moore gets over 150 yards. Or I want to say
Wow.
125, but because it says bold and it's in all
Wow.
caps, I have to
150.
I think 125 is
Ooh.
doable because he should. He's the number one wide receiver in going against a blitz happy defense. He should. He should be your game plan. He should be the person you're feeding the rock to. If he doesn't have over 100 yards, you should be ashamed of yourself, Luke Getsy, because he needs the rock and he can do stuff with the ball in his hands. He just has to get the ball. He just has to touch the ball. Like 2 times is not enough. Now I'm getting pissed. Like,
Yeah.
it needs
Yeah.
give him
I
the
know.
ball.
Hey, I love Phillips out here. This is like our time to just be very optimistic and be like, just imagine, like,
Yeah.
what
Bold
if,
take.
we got 20 sacks, or what if we
Yeah.
got, like that type of stuff. But Bill, 5 sacks from the defense. It's funny. 5 sacks doesn't seem like that much, but like 5 for this defense, it's like, wow, that would be a monster of a sack game for this defense.
If we got 5 pressures, that's more than what we had last game.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, so we need this, right? Dobbsy's saying, Flus, calm the defense. We got to see this out here. So, yeah. And John saying Justin fumbles, Cordell Stewart 2.0. Yeah, he's got to hold on to the ball. He's got to hold on to it. He's got to do something.
He's got to do the Tiki Barber and run around with it on the top of his shoulder pad.
Yeah, exactly. He just has to tuck it. Yeah, something. Put it under the shirt.
Yeah.
But yeah, Broski's saying Bears have 4 turnovers out there. But also, so for those that followed us last year, we had the AI choose the games as well. And we did that this year, and it was just an absolute train wreck. So that's why we don't do it at the end of our shows anymore for this. But we got the coin flip. So coin flip, we're saying what? Heads is Bears, tails is Tampa Bay. Yeah, and I don't have a coin on me, so that's why we use the coin flip. This is what is going to happen because Lord knows the coin flip app is actually the best decider of this. So let's flip it. Let's see what it does.
Yeah, it was 11 for 5 or 11 for 3 last year, or it was some crazy. Yeah,
it was insane. Coin flip chose tails, which tails means Tampa Bay.
Lose.
Coin flip is always right. Coin flip is trying to do some good stuff. So yeah, that now we can lose hope. Now we're screwed. The coin flip says tails. The coin flip has spoken. So we'll see what ends up happening though. But everyone, thank you so much for tuning in, listening. Apologies for having it a day later. Like I said, things were crazy at the house. So make sure to like and subscribe out there on YouTube and hit the notification bell because Lord knows we might have a weird schedule with going live. So the notification bell will help you with the getting notified when we do in fact go live. Also, we are giving away the Darnell Wright jersey. So make sure to rate the show 5 stars everywhere that you get your podcast. And with that, Unbearable Sports Podcast, we are out.
Yeah, she's got some